What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Brown Jet. Today, we're going to cover some recent drama that's happened on crypto Twitter with this new meme project, Pond. So if you haven't heard about it yet, Jeremy Cohen, who is also known as Pond0x, launched a project today, dropped a contract, and there's been tons of controversy. Now, before we get started, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, hit the thumbs up icon so YouTube knows to send more of my content your way. Also, support another content creator. I really appreciate it. Now, there was a really good thread that was made by Axel Bitblaze. I have linked this thread in the description below if you want to check it out after the fact. So, Pond0x, as I mentioned, he built a meme project called Pondx, and you know how like they get rid of all the vowels when they do the $ hashtag. In this case, it's PNDX $. Now, what's happened is their community is somewhat split. Some people have called it a scam and a rug project, and some people are like, people are coping hard. They've been making tons of money. They've been making millions of dollars. So clearly, the people who lost money are doing something wrong. So what's going on? Should you sort of stay away from it? Is it like a crypto hero or is it a crypto zero? Let's answer that right now, and this thread really helps us out. So here's what happened. Today, Polly created a contract and a website related to the Pond project. Now on this website, which is right here, you connect your wallet, you can select, if you wanted to put 1 ETH, you can swap 1 ETH for as much Pond token as you'd like. I wouldn't recommend it. There were some people who did that. Anyways, this was when you sort of connect your wallet, which I'm not going to do right now because I don't believe in connecting my wallets to these, third-party sites that I don't really know about. This is where you can sort of mine Pondx. So on this website, people could create new tokens through a process that's called minting. Now, you know what minting is if you're in the crypto space. This is where you get tokens. And this was sort of done as a pre-sale when Pond wasn't available to the public. So this is what typically happens, right? If you've sort of been in crypto, in stocks, there's these signal groups where they tell everyone, hey, join our Telegram. We're going to give you signals on what's going to go up. And what typically happens is it gets front run by other people who sort of buy stuff ahead of time. So they get it at a cheaper price, and then they can dump into all the incoming liquidity. It's a tale as old as time. It's sort of what you saw in, not The Big Short, but The Wolf of Wall Street, right? Oh, I have a company called Aerodyne. Do you want to buy some? And they just show these dumb stocks that they bought for cheap prices and then dump them into their sellers or dump them into those buyers. So what happened here was after people were minting some Pond, some random person added $5,000 of liquidity into the project. And by doing this on a project like Uniswap, or these are like tools where people can swap tokens, whether they're ETH or something else, into Pond token, and that liquidity was allowing people to sort of get in and buy tokens, right? You were able to sort of do it. It was at a much higher price. They use things like Maestro bots, which are commonly used in crypto. Now, the problem is when you buy a token that doesn't have much money backing it, like let's use the example. Let's say I have 100 cards each and I will buy every card off you for $10, but I only have like $200. So after the first 20 cards I buy, I can't buy anything off you anymore. So what happens is the limited liquidity, there's a huge price impact, right? So after the 20th card that I buy, there's $0 for me to buy any more cards. And if I'm the only one buying and the only one on the other side, there's $0 available for those who have the cards. So the first 20 sellers make money, the after don't. So the same thing happens here. Those newly minted tokens had very little liquidity because there wasn't money backing it up. And this is the crypto space. People come into the crypto space to try to hit home runs. And the sad reality is a lot of people have gotten wrecked in crypto. So they've they've resorted to being more and more reckless, because if you're down $1,000, you will take more risk to gain $1,000 and get even than sort of walk away with your losses. That's sort of what most people do. And as the losses accumulate, people feel like, well, I now need 100x my money or something, right? So everyone, no matter how many times we see these kind of scenarios, people just feel like they have to just go for it because they're like, maybe this is the one. They don't want to sort of hear the stories of the people who made money and go, that could have been me. So despite the low liquidity, people were buying tons of these tokens, thousands of dollars worth, but they were in for a massive surprise, because those people who had minted Pond earlier on this website, like I showed you, they were now able to sell them for 100 times more, sometimes even more than that, than what they paid. And of course, as you take the liquidity out, you sort of cause a huge impact on the token's value. OX Sun is one example. And by the way, there's no sort of shade against people who've made money here. This is just the reality of these projects, right? This person, they put in 1 ETH and they got 44.5 ETH out. And this has a lot to do with a lot of people who sort of don't understand what was going on, who were just putting money into the project. And because of the low liquidity, this person grabbed it and ran, right? But for every one of these success stories, there are also people who've lost money. You've got to realize this is a zero-sum game. If somebody's making money, that money is not coming out of thin air. That money got lost by somebody else. That's just the reality of it. Let's just go back here. Yeah. So then what happened was the people who bought Pond at high prices end up losing all of their money because the tokens crashed to almost nothing. Like, this is as close to a negative 100% as you can get, right? Like, it's absolutely absurd. And the other thing was, because there were a few individuals who managed to make a ton of money during all of this stuff, some people made $700,000 from an initial investment of less than $10,000. And that's because, as we showed earlier, and like OX Sun, they were able to sell at extremely high prices before the crash. And you know what's even crazier about this whole scenario? And this was sort of posted by Harrison on Twitter. He's like, do not purchase Pond0x. Anyone can transfer tokens from anyone's balance. There was something that was in the contract, which is so weird, that allowed people to actually, it was a huge vulnerability that allowed the transfer of the tokens from one user to another, right? Now, what Axel did here was he asked ChatGPT to audit the source code. And, in the video he posted, you can actually see the vulnerability that allows the contract that not allows the contract, but basically the contract allows anyone to directly move tokens from one user's wallet to another, and you don't need any authorization. So like in this case, somebody could come in, take your deposited tokens from the contract and put them into their own wallet without your consent, which is absolutely crazy. And unfortunately, a lot of people sort of were surprised by this, caught off guard, and kind of upset. Now, what happened here is people say that Poly made some bad decisions. Of course, there's going to be winners and losers. People got excited. They started buying Pond without realizing the risk. And this is a tale as old as time. If you were to go on right now and make Pond 2.0 and say this is the fixed version and people can 1,000x their money, the reality is there are people out there who are desperate enough to just go do it. And it's unfortunate that we have a lot of people out here sort of willing to just jump on and create projects without really thinking about the consequences for others, whether or not they have good intentions or not, right? I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to sort of talk about what's going on. And as Axel says, it's a classic case of high-risk crypto trading gone terribly wrong, right? Overall, according to his count, $2.2 million was lost in the Pond project, right? Now, some people call it a scam. It's hard to tell. It obviously doesn't look good. They launched at a 40 billion plus market cap, obviously with zero liquidity, right? Like $5,000, but you have all these tokens that aren't really backed. And it's down like 99.99%. And yeah, like while we say here that everyone is a rug chaser, the reality is this will continue to happen regardless of who it is. This is the same old story. And yeah, there is Bobo and Pepe. And honestly, Pepe is my choice of the meme coin when we do have a bull run. I think Shiba Inu and Doge have really seen a lot of runway. Pepe still has a ton of value there. I don't think it's a good coin, but I think that there's a whole meme movement behind it. And I do think that we can see Pepe go up. Now, Paulie was sort of not offended, but he was very like, hey guys, you guys need to cope harder. People here like sort of don't understand. I'm warning you. They just don't understand what's going on. It's a new model. And like the reality is he's just saying that people are fudding him and they got it all wrong, and people don't have the reading comprehension that's necessary to sort of understand how epic Pondx is. And the one thing I would say to this is the typical sign language that is used by a lot of people in crypto and stocks. Whenever somebody criticizes what they're doing, they're like, well, you just don't understand how smart I am. You don't understand how I'm going to change everything. You just don't get it, bro. And what's sad is you have people defending him because they made money on this project, right? Like I said, winners and losers. There's way more losers, but the money's the same, right? The money just got transferred. This is a wealth transfer device. That's what most of these things are. You're basically at a casino, and the people who sort of knew to jump in and jump out early are usually the ones with the most gains. And that's just true for this as well. But when you hear these people sort of try to gaslight you and do sign language, one of the things that this reminds me of is Zach Morris and sort of his Atlas trading conglomerate. And for the longest time, when people would ask them like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like, how are you consistently like 100% plus on all your investments? And, Zach Morris was a funny guy on Twitter. He would post, and this guy's name is Edward Konstantinescu, right? What would happen was he would be flashing his cash, going out to these incredible parties with models and everything else, and be like, yo guys, you could just be like me, just buy the following stocks and just hold bro, like STRN and others. And the reality was he was buying them ahead of time. He was sort of working with a group, figuring out what stocks they wanted to buy way in advance, buy it like over time, and then let people know on Twitter because they have big followings, push it out, get people to buy it up, and then sell that stock and dump on his followers over time while still pretending to own the stock. Now, who knows what's going to happen? Like, honestly, like I'm not here to judge. People can do whatever they want. What I'm saying for you guys is always remember, whatever you watch, whatever you listen to, including this video, not financial advice. You got to do your own research and make your own decisions. And for me, I think that we are in a huge opportunistic time with cryptocurrency. With Bitcoin sitting at 29,000, I made videos on Bitcoin. Go check the channel out. I made videos on sort of my belief in cryptocurrency and how I think that as we approach the halving, that's sometime in sort of April of 2024, we're going to see a huge spike in the price of Bitcoin. In the short term, I think we can see Bitcoin go down to as low as 24,000 US dollars. But I think that if you are patient and you are sort of having a long-term investing horizon, I think once we sort of clear the 24,000 level, if we get there for that liquidity zone, we will go up all the way to 37,000 at a minimum and even further. You can see here like where we've been sort of accumulating. We've sort of hit that liquidity zone at 29,000. There are a few others right below it, but I suspect we will hit 37,000 before breaking out to all-time highs as we approach this purple line, which I'm estimating as the halving time for Bitcoin. People don't really want to wait. They don't want to be patient, but you can 4 to 5x your money on Bitcoin on the next cycle potentially, right? Not financial advice, of course. Anything can happen. But why would you want to sort of go in the casino, use your limited funds and lose them and not be able to partake in one of the biggest opportunities of our lifetime? This is why I will avoid all sorts of projects, no matter how tempting and appealing they are, even though I know that I can get in in and out early, it's still not worth the risk for me, because what if I'm still not early enough, right? Instead, I'm stacking Bitcoin, I'm stacking Ethereum. Once those get saturated on, with the big price movements later on, then I will buy into the large altcoins and then the meme coin rally. So that's sort of my plan. And this is sort of the coverage for Pond0x. Just remember, people in crypto are not your friend. Like the ones who are telling you to jump into their projects, you've always got to do your own research. Most of them have their own altruistic sort of reasons for telling you to join something. On this channel, I always share with you my journey and my approach. And as you guys know, I'm very risk averse, but I'm also going for maximum gain. So I think sort of my methodology speaks for itself. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram, follow me and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me at the BrownJetYT on Twitter. If you want some help with your stock market trading, cryptocurrency, or DeFi kingdoms or anything like that, or you want someone to talk to, join our free public Discord at discord.thebrownjet.com. Also consider joining our membership program. We're going to have a trading group in there, as well as just a basic channel supporter. If you want to just support the channel, it's like $1 a month. But with that being said, I just want to thank you again for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.